understand what hurt and pain is? How many here can relate to what it feels like or going through the loss of a loved one? How many know what it's like to have your heart broken? How many have had those seasons, and maybe you're going through it right now, where you feel like you're being squeezed so tightly that you can barely breathe? You know, my youth pastor growing up used to use this real simple illustration. I guess stuck with me all these years. He would say, you know, if you squeeze a tube of toothpaste comes out. He's a genius. If you squeeze an orange juice comes out. If you squeeze a Christian, what's supposed to come out? What comes out? Not easy there, because right now you have that warm, fuzzy, we are the world kind of feeling going on, where you want to sway your hands and hug people you don't know. But I can tell you right now, that if you've been there, if you've been to those moments when it feels like one of your children have been ripped away from you, when your husband or your wife seem to be taken too soon, when you're told the cancer isn't going away, as much as Sunday school taught us that Christ is the answer, I would tend to believe very few of us probably look that direction during those moments. I know I did. Instead, I asked the question, why, a trillion times. Am I not good enough? Why us? I doubted everything I was taught. I was angry. It wasn't fair. You know, people don't know what to say during those times. I was 19 when my dad passed away, and you know, they don't know what to say, so they usually bring a casserole. That's about all they can do right here. That's the reason I'm the size that I am. But they try to say things that they mean well, but they just don't know what to say. I'm sure you've been there. One of my friends didn't know what to say, and all he told me was, you know what? No matter what you're feeling right now, no matter how angry and how much you question God, the best news I can give you is that His shoulders are big enough. He can handle it. And it's crazy to think that your doubt and your questions and your anger, that God's ever going to say, I've had enough. He can take it. And He still adores you. I think that the hard part is that we want to be separated from these seasons in our lives so badly, because it hurts so badly, that we never think that even in these moments, God could still be glorified. I believe His greatest desire above everything else is for Him to get His glory. He'll go to great lengths to do it. But I think sometimes we tend to let these moments go in vain. That we just bad luck. I was picked out of a phone book. Why is this happening to me? It's not right. I don't get it. When the God of everything is whispering in your ear, wait and see. If you know Christ, and you have hopefully read the last page of the book and you know who wins. And this is where we definitely all can relate, is that Satan will take great advantage of these moments in our lives, and he'll start telling you that you can't do anymore. This is the best it gets. That your weakness, that you can't handle any of this. Just give up. No need to get out of bed the next day. And we struggle with our guilt and our doubt so much that it becomes our identity. We start to believe, this is who I am. And I can't do it anymore. So let me remind you of this. If you know Christ, the same Spirit that rose Jesus Christ from the dead is living in you. It's easy to go, yeah, I've heard that in church before. That's awesome. Woo. Let me hug somebody. But let me put it this way. In the Old Testament, you had these patriarchs of the faith. And time to time, you can find where it says the Spirit was upon them. That the Spirit would be upon David to do the things that God wanted him to do. He couldn't live, the Spirit could not live in him because the cross had not taken place. The veil had not been torn. Man, if you read Hebrews 1, it talks about paragraph after paragraph of the things that you had to do just to be made clean. That just phase after phase and stuff after stuff that had to take place so that you could be cleansed of your sin. And then Christ shows up and in one word says, it's done. Finished. He changed all the rules. So Abraham, Joseph, David, Stephen, none of these had the Spirit living in them, just upon them. So instead of saying that you were unworthy, that you were not enough, you were very much worthy. You've been made holy as He is holy. Because you have something in you that even the main gigantic heroes of the faith didn't have. Imagine this, you're standing in heaven. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find Moses and say, explain to me what it's like to part the Red Sea. Was it anything like the Charlton Heston movie? And he's going to stop me and say, no. Explain to me what it's like to have the Spirit live inside of you. You were worth something. You were more than your greatest fear. You were more than your deepest pain. You are set apart. You are different than the rest of this place. Not because of anything good that you've done. Because your heart is full of a living God. That should blow your stinking mind. So my prayer is that we all together overcome our struggles with guilt and doubt and fear. And that we don't just have an encounter with Christ, but we have a full-blown collision. Because then everything changes. There's nothing we can't do. There's no one that can stop us. There's no reason to fear rejection because Christ has gone before us. Then all of a sudden, when people tell you over and over and over and over, like they do in church their whole lives, that you can do all things, it means something. You can. The Spirit inside of you rose the Messiah from the grave. That's good news, and I hope that soaks in. Christ has forgiven you, and you might want to give it a shot. The worst thing you can possibly do if you know Christ, He stands over you and says, redeemed. Your worst sin that you can commit tomorrow, imagine Him standing over you in the moment it's happening and He is saying, redeemed. Because He is not getting back on the cross. He has been on the cross once and it has fixed everything that we will go through for the rest of our lives and for all of time. That the cross was so powerful that the sin you commit months, years, decades from now is redeemed if you are in Christ. So live like you are redeemed. like when you fall, it does not matter. Get up and run to the cross. Don't let the enemy eat you alive when you slip, when you fail. Because I just imagine Christ with his arms open saying, stumble, fumble, however you can get to me, get to me. And so even in your worst of pains, I